On his first trip outside of the United States, Jordan Anthony defeated Noah Lyles at the World Championships. And this is exactly what Lyles said of the young man who had just stolen his crown when he left that track in Poland. But first, you must comprehend Jordan Anthony's true origins. Because a stadium is not where this story begins. It doesn't begin on a track. It begins with a child who was never intended to run a race in his life in a community that most people have never heard of. You will comprehend why what transpired in Poland in March 2026 may be the most bizarre sprinting event of the past 10 years by the end of this film. There are 1,800 people living in Tylertown, Mississippi. There was no Olympic pipeline, no sprinting culture, and no well-known athletes who preceded him. Football was the main event on Friday nights in this small southern town, with everything else being background noise. Football was Jordan Anthony's favorite sport as a child. He was quick, aggressive, and a wide receiver. He performed well enough to be awarded a scholarship to the University of Kentucky, which is essentially the ultimate ambition for a young person from Tylertown. You've succeeded, left, and are now playing college football. Then it all fell apart. Literally, not figuratively. At Kentucky, Jordan Anthony suffered a hip fracture. He didn't play football for half of the season. As he watches his comrades compete in the sport he gave his all for, he wonders if his body would ever be able to compete at that level once more. Take a moment to consider that. You are 17 or 18 years old. You moved away from your small town. The scholarship was awarded to you. The dream is coming true for you. The dream then stops when your hip breaks. In that case, the majority of individuals return home. They recover. They give it another go. They hope the coaches still have faith in them as they go through rehabilitation. Jordan Anthony visited the racecourse. Not because he had a big idea, not because he thought sprinting and music would be his future, but simply because he was quick, needed to compete, and there was a track. In February 2022, he completed an indoor 60-meter race with a time of 6.7 seconds. To put things in perspective, that is already quick. Compared to most collegiate athletes who have trained their entire life, that is faster. He was only acting in this way to maintain his sanity. The problem with playing football and being quick on the track is as follows. You are not taken seriously by anyone. You are an inquisitive person. Yeah, he's quick, but he's a football player, others say, pointing to you. He lacks the skill. The training base is not with him. Unlike the true sprinters, he hasn't been doing this since he was 8 years old. Jordan Anthony continued to show them that they were correct, wrong, and right again. He moved from Kentucky to Texas A&M and then from Texas A&M to Arkansas. In a few years, 3 universities. At all of them, he's playing football. At every one of them, he's running track. He is dividing his time and effort, never giving either one his whole attention. Additionally, the sprinting outcomes are favorable. Like really nice. He wins the USA Outdoor Championships under 2022 100-meter championship in June 2022. He is 17 years old. Everyone should have taken notice of that outcome. However, due to a conflict with football training camp, he is unable to attend the World Under 20 Championships. Football was his choice. You can see exactly what Jordan Anthony was thinking about his future at that point. Football was a real sport. On the side, he was skilled in track. Because he hardly ever gave the track his whole concentration, the world hardly ever discovered what he was truly capable of. The sprinting community hardly pays notice to him since he switches between sports and schools. Just another fast college student who, once the real experts arrive, probably won't amount to anything significant. They believed that. Something changed at Arkansas. After seeing him throughout practice, the coaches had a talk with him that altered the course of his life. You are not a football player who runs track, they told him straight out. You're a sprinter who has been squandering time on football. When football is the sport you grew up enjoying, hearing that is difficult. When you developed your entire adolescent identity on football, or when football is the reason you received a scholarship. After considering that, Jordan Anthony decided what to do. He no longer attended football workouts in the spring. He informed the instructors that he had decided on track. He was fully committed. Just the track and the conviction that the Arkansas coaches were correct about what he could become. No safety net, no backup plan. And the results began to scream almost immediately. Jordan Anthony leaves for his job. He won the SEC Indoor Championship 60-meter title in February 2025. That is America's top college track conference. He is outperforming experts who have spent their entire lives training for this. Then, in March 2025, he becomes the finest college sprinter in America indoors and wins the 60-meter title at the NCAA Indoor Championships. He then wins the 100-meter title in the NCAA Outdoor Championships in 10.07 seconds during the outdoor season. The U.S. college sprint champion won 2 national titles in a single year, both indoor and outdoor. He declares his intention to become a professional. He then appears at the USATF Indoor Championships in early 2026 prior to the World Indoors, when he runs the 60 meters in 6.45 seconds. He outperforms Trayvon Brell, whose 100-meter time is 9.76. He defeats the world's most well-known sprinter, Olympic champion, and 8-time world champion Noah Lyles. The world of sprinting pauses and looks skyward. Who is this child? To his credit, Lyles acknowledges that it did occur. Antony gets drawn into his training group by him. He begins collaborating with him. You can learn everything about Anthony's development from what Lyles says about him in real life. He claims that Jordan is a fantastic trash talker, that he brings a football mindset to the track, and that their heated, enjoyable, and competitive sessions make everyone work more. This is Noah Lyles, who claimed for years to be the world's greatest sprinter. Additionally, he is excited about his new training partner. Here is developing into something significant. Here's the issue, though. Antony has never participated in international competitions. He has never attended a world championship. He has never traveled outside of the United States. Never once. Not for a trip, not for a contest, nothing. He would fly for the first time in March 2026 at the World Indoor Championships in Thun, Poland. It was his first trip in Europe and his first time standing on a track with athletes who had been competing at this level for years. Athletes who are capable of withstanding the stress of a world championship. Athletes who understand exactly what it takes to win when everything is on the line because they have been there before. Antony didn't have any of that. Furthermore, his rivals weren't a group of unknowns. He was going to compete against some of the world's fastest short sprinters. Athletes who had dedicated their entire careers to training for this precise moment. It wasn't whether he had talent. By now, everyone was aware of his abilities. The challenge was whether a 21-year-old football player from Tylertown, Mississippi, who had never traveled outside of his native nation, could board an aircraft for the first time, go to Poland, and enter a world championship final without crumbling under the pressure. Even his followers weren't certain that the answer was in the affirmative. March 20th, 2026, in Thun, Poland. To run the biggest race of his life in front of a crowd that largely doesn't know who he is, Jordan Antony enters a stadium he has never been to before in a nation he has never been to. He is among the sport's youngest competitors. In the blocks, he lines up. The gun fires 6. World champion in 41 seconds. Give that a moment to land. 6th. In a picture finish that was so close that 3 other sprinters were vying for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place nearly simultaneously, he finished in 41 seconds on his first trip outside of the United States against a field of seasoned international athletes. The first person to cross the queue was Jordan Antony. The pundits went insane. 5 minutes ago, the audience didn't know his name, but now they are standing. Additionally, he was not standing on the top step of that platform with Noah Lyles, the man he had been working with, the man he had been disparaging during practice, and the man who is meant to be the face of American sprinting. It was Jordan Antony. You should listen to what Lyles stated after the race. He claimed that Jordan has been having fantastic sessions in which they go well, trash talk, and keep things going. If they don't communicate, he remarked, the sport is soft. He claimed that Antony has a football mindset and that he is simply getting older. Noah Lyles referred to himself as elderly. The world's most self-assured sprinter joked about growing older as he glanced at Jordan Antony. That man isn't discounting a competitor. That dude knows exactly what he's going to do. Antony then answered. He told NBC Sports that he likes working out with Lyles and that they have a wonderful relationship, but that they would undoubtedly argue. After that, he stated this. Lyles is just bringing old age right now, he remarked. A 21-year-old world champion from a 1,800-person Mississippi hamlet who has never taken a plane stands in Poland and tells Noah Lyles directly that he is elderly. That's the time. That's 6:41 seconds. The thing that strikes more forcefully than any figure, though, is this. Jordan Antony had never taken a plane before when he arrived in Poland for the World Indoor Championships. Consider the athletes he faced forth against. Since they were teenagers, they had been attending international competitions. They have participated in races in South America, Asia, and Europe. They were adept at falling asleep throughout lengthy journeys. They were able to adapt to several time zones. They were familiar with how these major championships felt in the warm-up regions. All of this had been done countless of times. None of it had been done by Jordan Anthony. He ran 6 after getting off a plane he had never been on before and entering a nation he had never been to. To beat the globe, 41 seconds. The young man who played collegiate football and shattered his hip. The child who attended 3 different universities. The young man who almost gave up football training camp in favor of a World Junior Championship and all but vanished from the game. That young man, who is 21 years old, is currently the fastest man on the planet indoors. He hasn't even completed his finest race yet. The 100 and 200 meters, as well as a true head-to-head matchup with Lyles on the grand stage, are approaching as the outdoor season approaches. Beyond that, the 2028 Olympic Games will take place in Los Angeles in front of a domestic audience. At those Olympics, Jordan Anthony will be 24 years old. The debate over who represents American sprinting may already be ended if what we've seen in Poland is any indication of where this is headed. I would like you to let me know what you think in the comments. Olympic 100-meter final home audience in Los Angeles in 2028. Everything is at stake. Will Jordan Anthony become the face of American sprinting for the next 10 years if he wins gold? Or does Noah Lyles still have a chance to win a championship? Put it down below. I read each and every one of them. Additionally, make sure you are subscribed if you want to see the complete analysis of Jordan Anthony's upcoming outdoor season activities. Is coming soon.